Testing. 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 Wonderful human beings. Welcome, Caitlin, Perth, WA. You have been so invested in what we've been doing lately. Thank you so much for being online. Who else have we got here on the Zoom? Ronnie, Pauline, Sabina, some new faces. Please share in the chat. Where are you joining us from this evening? And please, if you are there ready and waiting, just have a pen and paper, just a scrap piece of paper for tonight. Lindell, as always, I think you'd have 100% attendance so far. Thank you, lovely. It means so much. I realized I hadn't even hit live on Instagram yet. Now we're live on Instagram. It's going to be interesting to see how this session goes, people. Why am I so dark on Instagram? It's not my complexion, but I'm looking very dark. We are of Australia, where we're doing fantastic work, not just with teachers, but with human beings. And that is where the smile shift is happening, I guess, at the moment, is how can we work with more humans? Because at the end of the day, teachers are humans. And when we get to that human element, when we get to that real truth about who we are and why we're here and why we're teaching and our bigger purpose, that's where we come from, this place of honesty, from this place of love, from the heart. This is where the magic is. Terry from Armidale, again, another WA teacher, fantastic. Guess what? Those of you from Western Australia, we are going to have an opportunity to do a retreat right here in the southwest, in the beautiful Margaret River wine region in the July school holidays. This is an opportunity for you to take your abundance, health, happiness to a whole new level, where you'll be by the sea, in nature, supported by us, incredible food with a live-in chef, and we're going to take you on a journey of learning to love yourself and really understanding who you are. Because when we can understand who we are, we can have a greater impact. And until we can understand that, we're sort of just skirting around the edges. And my honest truth for all of you watching tonight is that I've been skirting around the edges for 2.5 years. When I started Smile Teachers, I sat down with my mentor and I said to him, after I'd been through my own journey of mental health, of burnout, of being a young teacher who was emotionally, spiritually crushed, didn't have the energy to teach anymore, I sat down with my mentor after I'd done all my healing, my own learning, my own growth. I'd got myself to this place where I was like, I'm confident that I can share my journey with people and I can have an impact on them. And he said to me, what's your niche? And I said, what's a niche? So when you start a business, if you have never started a business, everybody says, you need a niche, you need a niche, you need this group of people that you can impact first. And when I thought about it at the time, it was teachers. I was a teacher, I knew teachers, I had that community of teachers. And so I created Smile Teachers. And we initially started doing retreats for teachers. We're still doing those retreats. They mean a lot to me. They have a huge impact. There's a number of teachers on this webinar tonight who have been to our retreats. And it tells me that what we do works because they're still here showing up. But now, as we go through this presentation tonight, I'll share a little bit more about my truth. And I want you to start to get clear on your truth, because you'll see how this integrates with education and every other aspect of your life. So I will share my screen and I'll take you through a little journey about the honest truth. So once again, welcome to this weekly webinar. It happens every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time. In Perth is the time zone, or Singapore, if you like Singapore, maybe the Philippines, Manila time. We're all on this time zone. Thank you, Ronnie. You're in the Philippines, for joining us. Rory, Sunshine Coast, all part of this team, a part of my community. The honest truth. Hello, Shaun Kay. That is my mother. She's on Instagram. I don't think she knows how to get on Zoom yet, where she can actually see the PowerPoint, but we'll have to work on that for future. As I said, the honest truth. It's me. I'm here. It's Wednesday night, 6 o'clock. We're going into some stuff about me, Smile Teachers, and you and your journey as a teacher, maybe as a business owner, maybe as a mother or a father. But the honest truth is the essential component to everything that you do. And for me right now, I am doing some serious searching for my honest truth. I know exactly what I want to do. I don't know how to do it. And that's why I'm working through this and building more support with people like Ronnie and Rory and Lyndall and even Caitlin, Terry, my mother who's on Instagram. I need that support. We all need that support. So the contents for tonight, I'm going to talk about why going within is essential and why really taking a good hard look at ourselves, our values, and who we are is essential. What is introspection? And I'd like you, while you're watching, predominantly on Zoom, I'd like you to just think about that and put it in the chat. What is introspection to you? What is the meaning of introspection? Put it in the chat box right now. We're going to refer to it in just a moment. How does it relate to education? We'll go into that. I'm going to look at some Jedi mind tricks to help you using Star Wars inspiration. And then I'm going to share, and we're going to share in an activity together. And last of all, I'm going to talk about the uplifting and what the uplift is and how we're causing this uplift globally, socially, culturally. It's happening everywhere, whether you are attuned to it or not. The most important thing is what you're allowing to sit in your consciousness. And if that's the news, if that's the media, if that's what you're seeing, reading, hearing every day that are coming from sources that are no smarter or wiser than you, then we need to really consider what you're feeding yourself. And maybe you need to go on a low information diet like many of my community. It's a beautiful thing. We'll talk about the uplifting. We'll talk about what's happening on the planet. And we'll be done within the 30-minute period. Okay, we've got some things coming through about introspection. Caitlin, understanding myself and my feelings and how I react/respond to things, moving towards responding more often rather than reacting. Okay, what Caitlin has described is fantastic. This would come from spending time on introspection. This would come from taking time to go inside. If we can't go inside, then what happens on the outside is going to trigger us. It's going to cause us pain. It's going to touch wounds from the past. It's going to make us show up unconsciously where we are reacting. Caitlin's saying that she is, and I know she's working on this and she's doing a good job of it, responding rather than reacting. As human beings on this planet, in this lifetime, on this flying disc that's moving through space, our number one thing in life is to be responsible. We have a responsibility. Okay, life is about responsibility. Life is about taking responsibility of your journey, and how we respond comes with that. So we can talk about responding or reacting, but ultimately it's about taking responsibility. And life is simply that. Every single thing that happens to you, through you, or as a result of you is your responsibility to decide, choose, make a decision on how you respond. And that is really, really important for you to understand with introspection and with your honest truth, which we're going to get into. When we look inside and when we take the time to look inside and understand who we are, why we're here, and what impact we want to have, that is where we truly understand how to move through life. The resistance becomes less, the struggle becomes less, the challenge becomes less. When we can connect with ourselves, and many of you have had this opportunity, the last 6 to 8 weeks has been, whether you like it or not, your opportunity to go inside and have a look at yourself. Many of you would have been busy being busy. You would have got into this cycle over the last 6 to 8 weeks where you've been doing stuff, trying to stay busy. When what we needed you to do, what you needed to do for yourself was take responsibility and spend some time reflecting on, is my life working? Is what I'm currently doing making me happy? Am I waking up in the morning and jumping out of bed ready to attack the day and enjoy it? We're going to look at a few questions in just a moment to help you start to get clear on this. Because if we're not taking moments to reflect and pause, we can't pivot and shift. And that's where we end up feeling stuck, stagnant. That's where mental illness breeds. Okay, stagnation of energy is where emotion, negative emotion breeds. Okay, so our energy gets stuck. We feel entrapped, entangled. Our unconscious mind is aware, like, this is not how I want to be living. But my conscious mind is saying, I need to work, I need money, I need. When all you need to do is slow down and stop and take a couple of breaths to take responsibility for your emotional state. So we've all got this emotional guidance system. That's what our emotions are. They're a guidance system to tell us whether we're okay or not, whether we're feeling good, feeling bad. Feeling good, keep doing it. Feeling bad, stop doing it. Feeling bad and keep doing it, insanity. Okay, keep doing the same thing the same way, expecting a different result, insanity. So let's get clear on this. And I want to share firstly this story about Luke Skywalker. For any Star Wars nerds out there, I reckon you are a Star Wars fan, and potentially Rory as well. There's a scene in, I believe it's The Empire Strikes Back. Luke Skywalker's in training with Yoda, and Luke Skywalker looks over at the base of this tree and sees this cave. And I believe the cave is called the Cave of, it starts with D, and I'm going to remember in just a moment. The Cave of Dagobah, that's right, the Cave of Dagobah. And Luke Skywalker looks at this cave, he says to Yoda, I feel darkness, I feel death, I feel this fear coming over me. And Yoda instructs him and tells him, he's like, you need to go inside that cave. You need to go and face this darkness that's inside you, this fear that's inside you. And it's similar to Plato, for any of you that are familiar, not Pluto the dog, Plato the philosopher. The cave in Plato's work represents the confusion between what is real, okay, and this is what's happening to many of us now when we're not aware, we're not in our truth, we're not understanding what's happening. The cave represents confusion between what is real and what is fake. Social media is, I would say, very, very much controlled by fake influences, and it drives me insane. Part of the reason why I keep taking these breaks from social media is because I don't enjoy being on there anymore. I don't. It makes me sick. So what is real, what is false, okay, inside that cave? It's a metaphorical journey. It's a window into the inner self. So Luke Skywalker is encouraged to go in this cave and face off with his shadows, the things that he doesn't like about himself, the things that bring up fear, worry, anxiety, stress. And he is going to be tested. You're going to be tested when you do this work. You're going to be tested about whether you're truly living the life that you want to live, because it's short. Your life is short. So really, I want you to choose, and this is especially for teachers, make sure you're showing up for the right reasons. And when Yoda says to Luke, and Luke asks him, what's in the cave? Yoda responds, only what you take with you. And that's about this conscious mind, the ego and the baggage and the stories that we keep telling ourselves about why we're not good enough, about why we're going to make a mistake, about why we're doing these things because we want to have all these material objects, but really we just need to be happy and do what we love. And so Luke encounters this dark force and he takes out his lightsaber because he can't handle it and he chops its head off and it falls on the floor, and then he pulls the mask back and it's his own face and he's freaked out. Luke takes in the wrong weapons, the wrong attitude, the wrong way to approach any situation, the wrong way to approach these unprecedented times. If we go with fear, anxiety, stress, worry, frustration, confusion, what do we get more of? Stress, worry, fear, anxiety, frustration, confusion. Okay, what is happening inside us? Our external world directly reflects back to us. Ever find it funny where you're driving along the road and you think, please don't be a speed camera, please don't be a speed camera, please don't be a speed camera. Next minute you're singing to the radio, flash, speed camera. It happened to me just a couple of weeks ago. It happens, okay? You attract, okay? We attract, okay? So whatever's happening inside, the story that's playing out, I'm not good enough, I'm gonna make a mistake, people don't like me. Guess what? You go out in public, people think that, okay? You say to yourself, I'm just an amazing human being that does what he wants and lives the life that he chooses and feels great. You go out. This morning, I went to go to the coffee shop and I actually have I often have a little thing where I'll buy my coffee and I'll pay for one extra for somebody else. And I don't tell them who it is. I just say to the girls, give whoever today, pick somebody, give them a free coffee. Anyway, I go in this morning and the girl says to me, oh, you rang the other day and ordered a coffee and never came and picked it up. I was baffled. I'm sure that didn't happen, but I was like, beautiful start to the day, free coffee on my way. All right, let's get moving again with our little, PowerPoint. I forgot what that thing was called. And I'm going to share some questions. Courtney Holt, pay attention, lovely, because you'll get something out of this. I've got some Zoom slides up, but you can't see them at the moment. So the story about Luke Skywalker, it's all about the treasure that you seek is within that cave. So doing this introspection work, doing this reflective work, and doing it on a daily basis is helping you find the treasure that you seek, which is your own happiness and fulfillment. And as Yoda says to Luke Skywalker, the thing that's in this cave, the thing that's in here is only what you take with you. So if you're up here in your head, like I have been for 2 weeks, up here in my head, overthinking, overcomplicating, trying to figure everything out, then I get this fear, anxiety, worry, frustration. When I just slow down, meditate, walk in nature, spend time with family, talk to people, all of a sudden, heart settles down, heart starts to tell the brain, this is what you really want to do. This is your truth. This is what makes you happy. It's not coming from a place of scarcity. It's not coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of, I love doing what I'm doing and that's what I want to do. So, couple of questions. If you've got a pen and paper handy, let's just do a couple. We don't need long answers. Yes or no is even fine. If you'd like to put them in the chat, you're more than welcome to do that. First question, big question. Am I using my time wisely? And for those of you that are on Zoom, you're welcome to take a photo of that, but the PowerPoint will be sent out by my team with the Zoom recording. These are great reflective tools to help you get clear on things. Because what it is, it's a prompt. And what a prompt is it's something that helps you figure that little thing out and then take action. So the idea isn't to write these big, long-winded answers. The idea is to go yes or no. Okay, it's a no. I'm not using time wisely. Now I'm going to go deeper and have a look at that. Maybe I'm going to meditate, introspection, spend some time really reflecting on that, and then course correct. So the first question, am I using my time wisely? And I'm not going to go through all of them. So let's just scan down to question number 7, because 7 is my magic number at the moment. Am I putting enough effort into my relationships? Yes or no? Am I putting enough effort into my relationships? Now, there's 12 areas of balance, 12 areas of holistic balance that we cover in Total Teacher Self-Care, the online program that I will be leading starting on the 24th of May. The registration link is in our bio on Instagram, or you can find it somewhere. It's somewhere. From the Zoom webinar, if you're live, the easiest way is to go to Instagram or follow the webinar until the very end, and there's a slide about how to find that course, okay? Total Teacher Self-Care, because it's not really about self-care. It's about your mental habits, your emotional habits, your spiritual habits, and your physical habits. And how that will transform your life is beyond words. I've got testimonials, but I don't even need them. It is beyond words of how much of a difference these things can make. And number 12, is it 12 on there? No, there's 10. My phone was in the way. Have I been achieving the goals I've set for myself? I haven't. Shaun Kay hasn't. Okay, Shaun hasn't been achieving the things he set for himself because Shaun's been tired. Shaun's been doing a lot. Okay, and Shaun deserves a little bit of a rest. But now Shaun's had his bit of a rest. It's a matter of picking up the energy and really focusing it on that plant that I talked about. Instead of looking out in the backyard and I've got all this overgrowth, I just want to focus on this one plant and just nurture that one plant and help that plant to grow. And then when it's healthy, maybe plant another plant. But for the time being, I'm stripping everything back and I'm just getting really clear on what makes me happy and what I want to do, what helps me stay in flow. Now, Instagram, Facebook or Zoom, I would love for one person to share their response. So for those of you that are on Instagram, you can't see this at the moment, but the webinar is live on Zoom. The link to register is in our bio in future, and you can get the recording from tonight as well. Hannah, taking time to look inside, writing down thoughts and meditating is a great version of introspection. Now, for those of you that are on Zoom, would anybody like to share their response to am I using time wisely? If you would like to, please just put your, I think there's a way to put your hand up or to nominate to become a part of the show just for a second. Maybe Lyndall or Caitlin, Rory, anybody want to share, am I using time wisely? And a little bit about that reflection piece. If not, you can just type it in the chat, whatever is working. Maybe because we're a webinar tonight, we can't have you live. Mrs. Jones, Learning Journey, thank you for jumping on Instagram. Little Fan Bam Kicking Goals, I love your page. Courtney Holt, ex-student of mine, great to have you on board. We are going to keep moving on because I think Zoom's lagging just a little bit. That's okay. Q&A, what have we got? Something over there. Next slide. Great quote from Robin Sharma, somebody who I really like to think I somewhat model myself on, and I'd love to be that guy in future. Great author. He started my personal development journey when I picked up the book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. But he says, don't live the same year 75 times and call it a life. And I think this is something that's a little bit, it's a challenge for me to talk about it with many teachers because I do see it, feel it, taste it, touch it. I know that this is prevalent in the teaching community where there's teachers that have been teaching 10, 15, 20 years, living the same year 75 times over and calling it a life. Teaching from 20 to 60 years old. Like nobody else does that. really, when you think about it, there's very few careers that you do that. And we should be changing careers. We should be at least changing roles within our careers. So if we're not doing that, we're not growing, we're not being challenged, and we're not coming from this place of authenticity. We're coming from this place of just being the doer, just doing the do, as my friend Andrew Pierce says. Terry, not using time wisely, so need to plan how to use this. So this is a big thing for teachers. We all want to plan. We want to plan how to use our time. And Terry, this is not a knock at you, like at all, but we want to plan how to do everything. I'm always planning stuff. But how often do my plan, this is me personally, my plans very rarely go to plan. Okay, and there's all these self-development gurus and coaches and people out there saying, you know, failing to plan is planning to fail. Well, yes, there's an element to that, but there's also this thing called flow, and there's also this thing called you have an emotional guidance system. Your emotions tell you what feels good and what doesn't. If your emotions are telling you, like it has been to me, the main thing my emotions have been driving me to do is to write. All I want to do every day is write. Write. And I could write and write and write, and I will publish a book one day. I will write, and it makes me happy. But then the ego kicks in, and the ego says, well, you need to make money. You need a job. If you don't have income, you're gonna die. That's what it feels like. If you don't have income, you're gonna die. Even though I've still got a nice little nest egg of savings that I don't want to touch, I'm living life on my terms. I am still terrified of not having an income. And because I'm terrified of not having an income, I start to go into my head and I start to plan and do more plans of how I'm going to create that income. Rather than just picking one arrow, I've got 4 on my wrist, which may be a problem. Pick one arrow and then shoot at that target. But instead I pick 10, and then all of a sudden my time goes out the window. So my thing for Terry, a great point she's made about planning, because there's an element of plan, but the thing that I would suggest using is selective discipline. What am I talking about? It means selecting your non-negotiables, like walking the dog, doing yoga, meal prepping, whatever it is, your selective discipline. Those things are non-negotiable. And then your other time is a little bit flexible. So you can't just timetable everything. I used to say you can. For me personally, it doesn't work. I just need to have flexibility to flow. Some days I wake up, I want to go surf. Some days I wake up, I want to sit around and read. Other days I wake up, I want to write and create. So what I want you to understand is just being structured, but also giving yourself the opportunity to flow. Hello, we've got some more action. Lyndall, creating space to allow what needs to flow into my life to arrive rather than my words aren't even working. Arrive without controlling. And this is right. We've all been programmed. We've been programmed to be controlled. How many, and I'm sorry if this is you, how many of you just go and do whatever the government tells you to do? You're being programmed. Why? Why do you listen to every single thing that they say? Just because they've been voted into that position, you think their word is the word of God. For many people. All I'm saying, I'm not saying don't listen to them. I'm saying if you're going to your honest truth, you know best. So before you make a decision on anything related to education, career, purpose, money, abundance, relationships, vaccinations, go inside and sit with it. And get out of your head and into your heart and listen to your heart. My heart will start doing this when I know it's not right. My heart will start, and it feels good when I know that it's right. This is our guidance system, not out there. It's not out there. It's not the government. It's not the media. It's not social media especially. It's not even what I'm saying right now. It's you being able to stop, go inside and listen to your heart, your emotional guidance system. I was just this afternoon outside, and I like collecting different shells when I go to the beach. And I looked at all the shells, and there's some amazing shapes, sizes, colors, twisted spirals, all kinds of shells. And I thought to myself, and there's obviously some scientific reason for it, but who decides on the shape of those shells? What controls those shells being perfect spirals, like perfect, like better than pottery class spiral, like perfect? That makes sense. What controls that? There is an intelligence. I'm not going to say what it is. You can decide inside what the intelligence is. Is it God? Is it a higher power? Is it the universe? Is it your true self, your higher self controlling it? Doing these activities helps you get clear on it. Now, this little thing that I've called a Shareosaurus Rex, because it sounds cool. You could use this in your classroom. We're going to share. We're going to do a Shareosaurus Rex. Maybe bring out a dinosaur. In the chat, there's 11 of you engaged right now. So there should be 11 responses. So 11 responses in the chat. If I had an Instagram, please as well. One piece of advice for a newborn baby, what would you give it? What's one piece of advice you would instill, this is saying instill in a newborn baby? For me personally, one piece of advice I would give a newborn baby is to play, to never stop playing. Because what happens is we get to about 8 years old and all the playing is almost gone. When we get to high school, we get a little bit of play. When we get to adult life, we get this much play. And that play, that child, that inner child inside, we've all got this inner child. If you've ever connected with it, you'll know how magical it is and how powerful it is and how much it, see my heart beating, how much it affects us in life. My advice to a newborn baby would be to just keep playing. Little fella, just keep playing and playing and playing. Sabina, to treat others how you want to be treated. Yep. Zora, enjoy and have fun. Great name, Zora. I love that. Lombardo. I know quite a few Lombardos, actually. Silvio Lombardo. Vince Lombardo. There's a lot of Lombardos in WA. Terry McCoy, believe and imagine. Okay, believe and imagine. Where does that start? Believe and imagine is here. Believe and imagine. Love yourself first. Believe and imagine. Love yourself. Believe and imagine. Love yourself, believe and imagine. Because if you don't love yourself and if you don't believe, believe's up here. Believe, love yourself. When you fully love yourself, you can believe whatever you want to believe. You can imagine the biggest possibilities possible. Pauline Power, be kind, okay? Be kind to yourself first and then be kind to other people. The point I'm trying to get across here from everybody, and Caitlin Jugalife, my great friend Dale, first love yourself. I've never even seen that from Dale. Maybe I missed that one. But it is, you can't give away what you don't have. You can't give away what you don't have. If you don't have love, you can't give away love. But then it's actually even further than that. You can't give away love and then receive love if you don't love yourself first, because you're never going to be able to keep it. You've got to love yourself first, and that starts with going inside. And I just want you to reflect on this. I won't ask for a share. What's one small act of kindness that was shown to you that you will never forget? One act of kindness shown to you that you will never forget. I'm thinking, feeling. For me, the thing that comes to mind was probably, for me personally, well, there's been so many, but just the simple little things, like even having somebody, you know, call just to ask how you're going is an act of kindness. But for me personally, one that I gave out recently, and I say this not to be impressive, but to just express what happened. But I was back in my hometown, Bindoon, and I was going through my own stuff, and I was at the supermarket, and it was probably this very card right here, my debit card. I've gone to pay, and as I'm paying, the young gentleman in front of me, maybe 14, 15, went to the local community school, went to pay for his breakfast, which was a dare iced coffee and a sausage roll. God bless him. And his card declined. So it was the first thing in the morning, and his mates were there. His mates obviously didn't have any money. His mates looked at him. He looked back at the lady and was like, sorry, like, I've got to go. And I just said, no, just put it through with mine. And just, you could just tell that the difference that made, you know, that kid probably then, hopefully it was like, you know what, the world isn't such a horrible place. People are actually out there like this guy. And that was sort of why I did it, was to not only help him, but to really instill in him that one small act of kindness, he could then hopefully pay that forward, and then somebody else will pay that forward, and then we create that ripple effect. What's your why is a great question to reflect on and to journal on. We're not going to get you to do it now, but what's your why? What do you get up in the morning? Or sorry, why do you get up in the morning? Why do you jump out of bed in the morning? Do you jump out of bed in the morning? This is me in Bali running our January retreat. I do this because I know the importance of people loving themselves. I know the difference the work I do makes in the lives of not only teachers, but all people. And that connecting with that within and then coming from that place changes lives. And I think, you know, Lyndall, Chloe, Hattie, Lucy, the women that I've had on these retreats, they have not only transformed, they've transcended their old belief systems and their lives have changed. I wish I could create a short documentary of how their lives have changed just by showing up. And I, you know, to be honest, the stuff I do, it's really just what feels good to me. I feel into the moment. I know who I am and I just share. I'd love for you to do the same. So if you'd love to download 30 prompts, you don't need to put in your email or anything. You just need to type in that. I've got a sore jaw, too much sympathetic nervous system at the moment. If you'd like to download 30 prompts that will help you with your journaling, even if you're watching on Instagram, write this down. It's bit.ly/buzzing30. So bit.ly/buzzing30, and you'll get those 30 prompts. They're just in a Google Doc. Once again, last time, bit.ly/buzzing30. Type it into your web browser and you'll get those prompts. And this is what I want to talk about, the uplift, because consciousness is well and truly rising on this planet. And you look 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2020s we're up to, okay? We have just been exponentially waking up. And sadly, unfortunately, there's still a massive proportion of the population that are asleep, dormant. They just think that the world just keeps happening the way that it's happening and that there's nothing, you know, bigger to this picture. When I get the tingles in my nose when I'm in alignment or whatever you want to call it, I love it. I get things on my neck, my hair standing up, what I have of that anyway. What I'm talking about is there's something much bigger at play here. And if all I'm asking you to do is tune into that, Start to ask questions. Don't just read the news, read the media, read the social posts and go, oh, okay, that's what's happening in the world. We better do what they say and follow them and do this and do that and keep doing this in education. Education's the slowest thing, but it's sped up. We basically went through 10 years of acceleration when COVID hit. We went from teaching in the classroom to teaching online. Like that. Boom. Straight away. Teaching online. There it was. Wasn't done. It wasn't done pretty. It wasn't done effectively. It probably wasn't done to the best of anybody's expectations, but it was done. And now we've shifted, flooded, moved our way back to classrooms slowly. And teachers are probably sitting there going, it actually was pretty good. I was teaching online for 6 months last year. It was great, except you just miss that little bit of human connection. But please, before you start looking out there, before you start looking to social media, looking to other people, even looking to your partner to understand or to fill that void, go inside, reflect, meditate, journal, get really clear on your truth. Because if you don't know your truth, it's hard to show up authentically. It's hard to have an impact. It's hard to collaborate. It's hard to do anything if you don't know your truth. I'm still working on mine. One thing's for sure, I love connecting with teachers. I love sharing the content that we go through, and I love making a difference with the work that we do. And if this is something that appeals to you, and honestly, this should be mandatory for teachers to get really clear on this, because you're going into a class to impact 20, 30 students. And if you don't know your truth, how are you showing up? What impact are you having? If you can't even articulate that. So total teacher self-care is, when you think self-care, you think wellness. It's very much about mindset, heart space, structuring your mindset and your belief systems, getting really clear on I am enough, I am worthy, I am awesome, and making that your reality rather than a hope or dream. It starts on the 24th of May. It's all done through Zoom, email, and a Facebook group. So you get access to the Facebook group, private Facebook group, lots of interaction, connection, prompting, resources to help you bit by bit, play by play, inch by inch, start to build yourself up to this strong, powerful, independent human being that you are. Maybe it's just a reminder to keep connecting with yourself. Maybe it's a space for you to share your journey. But most importantly, it's about elevating your consciousness. It's about taking you from here to here. And that may be 1%, it may be 10%, it may be 100%. But at some point in your life, you have to come to that realization that you can't live your life 75 years over the same. Can't have 75 years living the same year over and over and over and call that a life. Because I guarantee you, when you contemplate death, death is something that I'm quite comfortable with. When you contemplate death, you really start to understand that life is far more than just teaching or impacting or being busy, having a family, whatever it is. Life is so much more than that. So getting really clear, having a supportive group. If you're interested and if you just want some free value, there's the link, bit.ly/smile course. What that gives you is 5 free modules. Okay, so once you fill that out, you'll get an email every day for 5 days. It'll be a video and some activities, totally free. And then at the end of that, you'll have the opportunity to find out more about Total Teacher Self-Care. Maybe it's for you, maybe you're for us, maybe you're not. We only work with people who are ready to take these steps. Any questions, beautiful people? Any questions? Instagram, thank you for being on. Always a pleasure. Head to the link in our bio if you'd like to know more. Much love. Goodbye. Back with Zoom. Any questions? You're welcome, Zora. Always a pleasure. And yeah, people, you're going to see lots of changes and things happening with Shaun and Smile teachers over the next few weeks because I'm changing with the world. Pauline, you're welcome. Sabina, you're welcome. Terry, you're most welcome. Caitlin, always a pleasure. Next week, where are you going to see me next week? On the online program, I hope. And the teachers retreat will be in July. You and Harry, we need to get you there, Caitlin. Harry and Caitlin coming on the retreat would be fantastic. Exactly. And Caitlin, Harry can actually do Total Teacher self-care as well. You might want to speak to her about that. I'll speak to her about that, but she could do it with you. Lyndall will be there if the borders open. Holy moly, that'll be something, Lyndall. I will definitely keep you posted. You could potentially lead a workshop. Goodbye, wonderful people. Thank you for being on here. Have a lovely week.